Hello, hello, it's Monday, 3 p.m. and you are listening to the radio Beat Around, supported by Center of European Initiatives and Erasmus Plus program. Today in our discussion show with Alans, we have a special guest, Angel from Spain, that used to be a volunteer in SEI some time ago, and today we are going to talk about his EVS experience. So, hello, Angel.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Alans.
Hello, it's me here as well.
Yeah, sorry. So, guys, for the beginning, tell me how was your day, and Angel, you can tell us something about what are you doing now in Bulgaria and Stara Zagora.
Yeah, so I am here on a week's holiday. I came last Wednesday, just for a week. And obviously I have done my volunteering here in Stara Zagora, and I had to kind of just come for a day and see how the city has changed. There has been a very big change, so like the main street didn't look like this 7 years ago, so it was like really good seeing everything there.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do now?
Oh, it works.
Okay, sorry for the small, again, the microphones. For today, I just recorded as well a rubric. Maybe some of you guys will listen to it. I woke up, had breakfast. I knew that I'm going to have two radios today. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, so I came from Sofia yesterday, later evening, so I was just resting today, and I'm hosting my friend right now here, so we were together, and now I'm here in the radio show with you. So that's about my day. And now we can take a short music break, and after that we will start with questions for Angel, and so yeah, listen to us. Hello guys, welcome back. After the music break, you are listening to Radio Beat Around, supported by Center of European Initiatives and Erasmus Plus program. And today me and Alans, we are here with our former volunteer Angel, and we are going to ask him some questions about his EVS experience. So Angel, when did you finish your EVS?
So my my EVS went on from like July 2012, and it finished in end of May 2013. So it was like 11 months beginning to end.
Okay, that's some time. So tell me, what were you doing here before? Like, what different activities were there before than they are now?
Okay, so we were going to a primary school in Dalboki. We'd go to a like an orphanage in here in Stara Zagora. I believe it's called Domaza de Maria Teresa, if I'm not mistaken. We then as well. So me personally, I did kind of run some Spanish language lessons for like youngsters, and that was really cool. I think that's kind of pretty much what we did. Well, we also went to the local biblioteca, so the library, but that's kind of pretty much the same thing that you guys doing. We didn't have a radio show, unfortunately, but I'm glad that you guys do now.
Yes, we also do scanning still, but the activities pretty much changed. So I think we are still working with children partly, but yeah. At least my occupation here is more or less about the radio show. So, but Alan's also have experience with the children work.
Well, I actually like working with children because I'm not that fond of doing the radio thing. So
Yeah.
that is the thing, yeah.
Yeah, so we are the opposite in this.
Yeah, and I have no degree that would put me in any kind of activity primarily, let's say, as well.
Okay, so why did you decide to come here into this organization when you were making your decision of where to go to EVS?
So when I was looking for an EVS project, I kind of automatically discarded anything that was like really culturally close to Spain. I kind of wanted to go as far away as possible, and kind of when I was going down the list of countries in Europe, I was like, which one is the one that I know the least about? And I didn't know very much about Bulgaria, so I was like, actually, that's probably somewhere I'd like to be. Uh, Obviously I knew it would be like a big challenge. So the language, the currency, like it's a different alphabet, and that's kind of what attracted me to it, to be honest.
Okay, so you were looking for Bulgaria, like you wanted to go to Bulgaria specifically.
Yes, I mean, I had never wanted, I had never kind of thought of going to Bulgaria because it's just like so different and far away from Spain. And this is exactly why I kind of wanted to give it a try because I didn't know anything about Bulgaria.
I can say that my motivation was well in some ways as well quite similar. I as well decided to go to. Uh, I as well decided to go to Bulgaria because it was such a foreign and land and so much more culturally different than what we have. Okay, it's still Eastern Europe, but it has its differences. So yeah, that's my go on this.
Yeah, I probably am the only one here that didn't decide by the country. I originally honestly didn't want to go to Bulgaria, and I was looking by the countries. I wanted to go somewhere north or maybe to um, yeah, well, somewhere else. But in the end, I didn't find the job I wanted to do in these countries, so I started to be looking for the occupation more than for the country. So in the end, sorry, in the end I chose Bulgaria because I wanted to do something with media and with journalism, and this is the place where I could do it. Sorry, guys. Okay, so why did you decide to? Okay, we know why did you decide to go to Bulgaria, but why did you decide to go to EVS in the first place?
So I was 18, and like this is just going back to like 2012. I was 18. I was living in Spain, a country that didn't really have much future for any youngsters back then. Then I kind of just started looking options, and I was just browsing Facebook one night, and I saw this EVS advert from my sending organization, and I was like, it was like an informative seminar, so it was just like a discussion on EVS, what it is, what does it do. Uh, it was like in a town next door, so I did ask my parents to take me there, and they were like, "Oh no, like we're busy." So I kind of just asked my sister to drive me there. Um, and then, yeah, so they kind of explained everything about EVS, what it says, what did you get out of it. And then I kind of just was like, yeah, I'm up for it. Like, I have nothing to do. I've just finished my photography studies. I'm young. I can take a year off. There's no problem with that. So I went to this seminar, I really liked it, and then I stayed in touch with my sending organization. So my sending organization is Paideia in Spain. You probably haven't heard of it, but you might have heard of like Zara, Pull&Bear, and all of those shops.
Yeah, of course.
So basically the president of the Paideia organization kind of owns a big part of all of those shops. Like as an interesting fact.
Okay, so you told that you wanted to know how would it be to go to EVS. So describe to us how was your EVS experience in general?
It was, if I had to kind of choose one word, it'd be kind of enriching. So it was enriching. It was fun. You get to do projects that you probably wouldn't be doing otherwise. You get to meet people from like really all over the world. So not only Europeans, but I think whilst we're here in Bulgaria, we got to meet like people from America mainly. So like that's kind of how it was at the beginning, and then it's a very rewarding experience, and that's because you can always you can see the change that your actions are making in the local community. So we were working with children, so probably 3-6 months down the line, you'd look back and see like, wow, like we really did make a difference in these people's lives. That is something that was good, and obviously it was a really good experience, but it's also challenging. So when you are so far away from your family, like your friends, your comfort zone, it's never easy. But like it's really worth it. Overall, it was like a really positive experience.
Okay, so you said that you saw some, or you changed, you had a feeling that you changed something in the community. Can you tell us some like concrete example?
Yeah, of course. So we kind of just got children to be curious about like going abroad and like speaking English. We were going to like this the Mazadica that they had children. They didn't really have English lessons, so we were just going there and teach them some English. And it was just great to see people and young children getting curious about it, and just like asking you about your home country and just them actually telling you actually whenever I become of age, I do want to go out and do something. So that's one of the things that probably I feel that we have changed somehow.
Okay, and if you would have to make a decision again about ABS, would you do something differently? Would you go somewhere else, do something else?
I would still have come to the same place, I think. So yeah, like I would have done it in Bulgaria in Stara Zagora like 2 or 3 times. Like I really love this place.
Okay. So what is the value or skill the EVS gave you that you are most thankful for?
I think that it is probably going to be confidence in myself and then language skills as well. So they're kind of both linked. When I came to Bulgaria, didn't really speak English. I had studied English at school, so I had a very basic English. I wasn't feeling confident at all about speaking English, in any way, shape, or form. I had to learn also Bulgarian in English, which wasn't easy. So as I learned the language, I was like, I am becoming more confident, and I think that's something that stayed with me ever since. So I probably would say that it's confidence and also language skills, because had I not left the country, had I not come to Bulgaria, I probably would still be home and just, having a very average English, like very Spanish, I'd say.
Yeah, your English is very good, really. Because some Spanish people I can't understand them.
Well, I live in London now, and
Oh, that's why.
it's been 5 years living in London, so I think that's probably. But yeah, 5 years ago, and probably like some of your colleagues can tell you, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, I can. Actually, when you came inside and you started speaking, I could hear the Britishness coming
Yeah,
out of
me
your
too.
speech. And yeah, that's right. You speak perfectly, especially for a Spanish people. I have had a lot of experience, I can say.
With Spanish people?
Yeah.
I only met Giovanni, our previous volunteer, but yeah, I had a big problem to understand him. He had very strong Spanish accent. But with you, yeah, it's perfect.
Well, I mean that's good, and I guess when someone leaves the country, like those skills do come. Like I probably, you can probably ask Rasmita or anyone else about it. Like I don't think 5 years ago, like no, it's been 7 years ago. It's almost 8 years ago. I don't think they could understand me either. I sometimes would speak to people and I would look at their face and they would say yes and be like, no, you haven't understood anything of what I just said. But like that's just something that's
Yes.
that's something that just comes with time.
So, you said you were also learning Bulgarian here, so do you know something in Bulgarian?
I used to speak Bulgarian pretty well.
Really?
I still speak Bulgarian, maybe not as fluent anymore. It's quite rusty, but I do speak Bulgarian still. How's your Bulgarian coming along?
Well, probably not as good as yours. I know how to ask for train ticket. And I know some things because Slovak language is not that different. It's not very similar, but we have a lot of words in common, and I guess grammatics is also pretty much similar. And I don't know, some things are really like almost the same, like numbers and stuff. So at least I always understand when I'm paying, like how much am I supposed to pay. But Yeah, I wouldn't say that my Bulgarian is good, but I hope that will improve with time.
It will improve. It's just one of those things that, I mean, when we were doing lessons, obviously my colleague Dasha, who I volunteered with, like she's Ukrainian, like her Bulgarian just came across naturally. And I was like, this lesson just didn't make any sense. And then one day, just everything clicked together. And I kind of always felt bad because she'd be so good at it, and I would kind of just be so behind. And then just one day, you kind of just learn it and you start talking. I just one day realized that actually I was putting sentences together, and that's like really rewarding as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hope this day will come to my life as well.
It will be soon.
Alan, how do you feel about your Bulgarian?
I think I can order. I can get the train ticket as well. Maybe hold a Bulgarian-Russian mixed conversation and hope that the person will understand. That's pretty much it. Not the greatest. I think there's a lot. There's a lot to work on still.
Okay. Okay, so you said that now, well, you are out of EVS for a long time, kinda, and you said you are living in London now. So
I do.
tell us, what do you do in London?
Cool. So I work. I've been in London for almost 5 years now. After Bulgaria, I went to Belgium, and then I ended up in London by accident. I work in a company that is a fintech company, so financial technology. We basically enable merchants to kind of accept mobile payments through their mobile app or through their website. And I now head up what is their customer service team. I've been there for 2 years, quite happy for now, and then, we'll see.
Okay, so what is different in your life after EVS? I know you were very young when you came to EVS, but okay, what was different when you left EVS than it was before?
Yeah, we were really young and innocent. So it kind of just completely changed my life, really, because where I was going before, so the life that I had planned before EVS and the life that I planned after EVS, it's very different. Probably the most significant change is that after EVS, I had clear. I still didn't have clear what I wanted to do, but I had clear what I didn't want to do. So basically, the plan, and this kind of not only my plan but my family plan for my adult life, it was for for me to kind of carry on with the family business, which is what I was gonna do. Had I not done EVS, I probably would be now in Spain, owning my own business at home. But that's not what I wanted to do. That's what my parents wanted me to do. And so I think by, doing an EVS and like just going for a year abroad and just being so far, I was like, actually, is that what I really want to do? No, and like it's whoever should be deciding for your future is yourself and not your parents,
Yeah. So we can say that EVS motivated you to try to live abroad, because then you said you left to Belgium.
Definitely, I just didn't go back to Spain. I mean, I went back to Spain for 6 months, and I kind of tried going back to school and finishing some extra stuff which I didn't need. But then, like 6 months down the line, I was like, I actually don't like living in Spain. So I went to Belgium. I kind of just like EVS, and this is probably something that I have now and I didn't have before, is like the confidence that I was telling you about. So EVS really did make me more confident. You are living by yourself in a foreign country. You manage yourself in a different language. You have new friends. You don't really depend on your family. So it's kind of just something that did improve with EVS.
Okay. So let's go back to your life during EVS. What was your best and worst moment during your EVS? Was there sometime you wanted to just give up on this and go back home?
Yeah, I mean, there was that one moment. So, like, the worst one, I think, was around September 2012. So that's when we had our on-arrival training. So you guys know that you have on-arrival and then you have the
Yeah,
midterm.
I didn't have yet.
Okay, well, you will have, actually, that's great. So you will have an on-arrival training, which kind of will the Bulgarian National Agency will gather you with other, like, many volunteers that arrive around the same time as you, for you to kind of discuss your projects, what you're doing, where you're coming, and everything. So around that time, so I arrived with a volunteer from France. We arrived the same day, so we kind of had been sharing the journey. And just before the arrival, she left. I was kind of feeling really low when she left. I was like, I'm not feeling well at all. And then we had an arrival, and then when I got to the arrival, I was really shy. I was extremely shy. And I didn't know anyone there. And probably Dasha will remember this. I didn't feel good. I felt out of place. I didn't want to be there. I was Fleur, who was the only person that I knew there, she left. She wasn't there anymore. So I was like in this place full of people that I didn't know. And I was like way too shy to kind of socialize with anyone. So I kind of I was like, no, I'm not doing it, and I went home, and like that was a big mistake. So like, had I had the chance to do EVS again, that's probably the one thing that I would change. I have done then the midterm training, which was great, and like I only regret so much that I didn't do an arrival. So I bet you're looking forward to that because it's going to be a really, really good
Yes.
experience.
It's gonna be now in November.
November, oh, that's great. Like it's depending where it is, like weather might be like snowy and like really, really cozy and nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, I really like Sofia, so I'm really looking forward for this. And what was the best moment or best times, best memories?
I think the best memories. I mean, there was that one time that I realized that I was actually talking to a child and making a conversation, and I think that's probably the time that I was like, actually, you speak Bulgarian, better or worse, you speak Bulgarian, and I think that's a really rewarding moment because, that was probably 3 months down the line. I was like, I hadn't spoken Bulgarian before, and now I do. So I think that was probably one of the best moments. One of the moments is when Dasha and I organized a carnival. So we organized like this. It was like carnival in Spain is like something that they do in February, March time, and you just wear your fancy dress. It's like a Halloween, but in February, pretty much, and not so scary. Uh, so we organized that for the children, and they had never had a fancy dress party. So I think we had done angels and devils back then, and we didn't have much. We had just like some black rubbish bags and some red sellotape, and we just kind of made some really cool costumes. And then I remember we did also some like angel wings, which the children drew. So it was a really nice moment, that one.
Okay, now we are going to take our second music break, so stay with us and you will hear from us after a few minutes. Hello guys, welcome back after our music break. You are listening to Beat Around, the radio supported by Center of European Initiatives and Erasmus Plus program. And if you just switched us on now, we are here with our former volunteer from SEI, Angel from Spain. So and we are talking about our EVS experiences and why is it awesome and maybe not always so awesome to go to EVS. So, Angel, tell me, what would you say to your friend if he would ask you or she why to go on EVS or why not to go?
Well, there wouldn't be why not to go. Like, you should go, definitely. So EVS, I think, will show you what you're capable of. You will kind of, I think EVS makes people, better persons. You will be a much better person, I think, after dedicating some of your valuable time to a community and other people. You will obviously gain new skills, life skills as well. So a language is a life skill, for example. I have learned Bulgarian and think that, is something I'm really grateful for. It will trigger your curiosity to travel around and discover new cultures, new countries, new places and people. And then I think it's something really bonding as well. So you will get to know people from all over the world who have been in the same place at the same time as you. You will make friends that are forever. Like you may not see them all of the time, but you know that they will always be there. So I think that since I kind of finished my EVS years ago, so I met some of the volunteers, in very random places. So I was in Belgium once. And I met one of the German volunteers that left shortly after I joined, Marina. She was in Belgium, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in Belgium too. Let's just meet for a drink." And like that's just something that is really good. And then obviously, you can do it. It's gonna be like a once in a lifetime experience. I would kind of personally, it worked for me to do it very early in my life, and that's because you are when you're like at your most absorbent, so you absorb the most knowledge. You're like more flexible to change. I kind of just there is no reason why you wouldn't want to do EVS, especially if you kind of want to take a break and kind of decide what you're going to do for your career. I don't think that someone who is 17, 18 is prepared to kind of decide what they want to do in uni for the rest of their life. I don't think that works.
Hmm.
There are many reasons why you should go.
Yeah, so basically you will find a lot of friends all around the world, and you have people you can stay with when you travel. So
Definitely.
it's cheaper then, and yeah, also you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, also you can like find yourself in some sense, like, or get to know yourself when you are living abroad for a year
Yeah.
alone in younger age.
If I may, like, how did you two come across EVS? Like, how did you decide to do EVS yourselves? Because obviously you've just heard all about me, but how about you?
Yeah. Okay, so I was connected to the Erasmus programs a long time. The first years of my study on university, I was working for the national agency, like the National Slovak agency that was coordinating all these activities. And so I came to contact with this, and I went to several like short-term EVAs and projects and other programs, training courses and stuff. And then I learned about this opportunity to go to long-term EVS, and it was like back then it was awesome idea for me. Like, I can live somewhere for a year abroad, and everywhere, and it will be paid for me. It was like what to think about. But then I was finishing my third year on university, and I kind of changed my mind then because I didn't want to leave my friends I had there. So I finished, and then I was working for 2 years, and then I realized suddenly I'm 25, almost 26, and I'm just working in the office, and I want to do something else in my life for a while because I was working really long hours. So I remembered this, that I always wanted to go here, and I just told myself that okay, I have last 4 years to go to EVS, so let's do it. And yeah, that's my.
So for me, I guess it all started by I had last year I lived for a year in Germany, and I had one friend that I knew from other Erasmus projects, but those were like only for school, so it was like 1 week go abroad to another school and stuff like that. And he told me, "Oh, I'm going to Portugal, Lisbon, well, on this EVS, like I don't remember how long it was for him." And then that's how I came. I don't know. That's how I knew about it. Let's say, and I just went on the European Solidarity Corps website, registered myself, did all those things, applied for some projects, but originally I wanted to go to, I think it was, if I do remember correctly, I wanted to go to Sicily, Italy. Then one was I wanted to go to Russia actually and Belarus. Yeah, because I wanted to learn how to speak Russian a lot better, have some practice, right? And then I was trying to find, nobody was answering me. That's the thing with them. They will not tell you, "Oh, sorry, we do not find you good enough." They will not just answer to you. So then I just went on Facebook, wrote the same thing, European solidarity thingies, and I found Krasimira, and that's it. I just saw her post, and then I just messaged her, and that's it. And then she gave me a questionnaire. I filled it out. Okay, everything's good. Had an interview. Okay, everything's all right. And then I was on my way to Bulgaria, and and why? And I had just finished school as well. So this is my gap year.
Hmm.
And I guess if it comes to the, I don't know if this is about the topic that we're talking about, but about some things that I feel like you would not did not say anything like why you should not do it. I don't have as well. I cannot say that this is something that you reasons why you should not come. But there are some, well, let's say smaller like minuses. For example, for me, I am very homesick at the moment actually, and I guess it makes you stronger in some senses. It gives you again practice with this away from home. So yeah, that is my
Hmm.
take on it.
Yeah, yeah, of course, like everything has minuses. Let's not lie to ourselves that this is like some sort of bubble in the world, that there is nothing wrong. Of course, but it all depends on how you perceive the opportunity. I think what you take out of it, and of course there are like some bad things, but I don't know. For example, maybe with me it's because I'm older, but I was not homesick. I had no problem from the beginning. I didn't care, but but yeah, of course, like everywhere are some minuses, but it's always about what do you take out of it in the end.
It is normal to be homesick, right? So, like, I did feel homesick back then, and that's when I kind of had that experience in September before the arrival. So it kind of just was a mix of things. I did feel very homesick back then, but like you kind of just make your friends here, and you know that you'll go back home. At the end of it, I personally, during my whole project, I never went to see my family, so that was like 11 months that I didn't go to Spain at all to see my family. I think I went once to Madrid, just like on a weekend, but I never got to see my family. It kind of just, I mean, I've been studying in a boarding school, so I wasn't living with my parents since I was kind of 11. And I went home for a couple of years. Then, it's always hard, but you have always people, and I'm sure you have the support as well in like hosting organizations. Like they would always support you if you are feeling not well. Like that's something that they will do for you. What about your prayers? Like, what are you guys doing at the moment? So you're doing this radio show and what else?
Hmm. Well, I mainly do the radio show because as I said before, I was, or tried to say, I chose this opportunity because of my occupation, because I was studying journalism and I wanted to do something connected to media, at least briefly. So I chose this EVS because of this radio show mainly. So I'm doing mainly this, but also I'm scanning books in the library as you did in your times, I think. And yeah, there was this summer camp during summer where I went several times to help with children, and that's all. I'm not the person that would be that keen on working with children, so I'm more aimed at this. But I think it's different with Alan's.
For me, it's yeah. As I already told you, radio. Well, at start, I just felt that I was at a disadvantage because I just did not know really how to operate everything, and now with more practice, I don't really think about it that much. But yeah, you're right. I do like actually what I'm doing. I pretty much from everything. That's it. Uh, the camp with the kids, music school, this radio. Uh, Radio rubrics and radio shows. So yeah,
Cool. I mean, I think whenever like a project comes to an end, you will see that you may realize then that you've been doing things or you've ended up doing things that you didn't think you were gonna do. So, I mean, when I joined, I did know that I was like I was going to be working with children, and I actually really liked it. The children were always like super nice, at the beginning we couldn't really communicate with each other, but that's kind of normal. But I never expected like I'd be having to organize like a Spanish lesson and kind of teach it. Like I had never done that before, and like I kind of apply this to my day-to-day job now. So, you know, I sometimes have to train new joiners in my company, and it's like, actually, when I start thinking, is the first time that I'm doing it is actually it's not. Like, you know, back in 2012, 2013, when I did my EVS, I kind of was teaching some Spanish, so that is kind of already working experience that is going to prepare you for your future life. You know, like when we've organized this carnival with the children in Dalboki, it kind of all requires a planning that is then applicable to your real life. So, you know, whenever I have to manage a project at work, so I've recently had to plan a project for work, and it's like everything kind of just follows those very same patterns, if you like. Everything kind of just follows the same structure. So everything that you guys are learning today is going to be useful, whether you know it now or not. It is going to be useful in your daily lives whenever you live the EVS projects.
Yeah, yeah. Like right now, even if the radio is like local and stuff, but I'm telling myself that one day I can use this as a reference. Like I can take them to my USB key or whatever or disk, and I can send them to my, I don't know, future employee, and I can use it as a reference for my job. So I don't think like what I'm doing is for nothing. I'm happy with my work, and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, EVS is kind of a bubble in some sort of way, but and
I think it's a good bubble.
yeah, it's a very good bubble, but you are living like this sort of life that is very different from everyday life. But it's very good when in the end you have these experiences that you can actually implement from this year to your life, as you said.
Like just write everything you're doing. Just remember to always write it on your notes or anything. It's always gonna be useful to kind of upload it then on your youth pass. So try to make your youth passes, which is for those of you who don't know, like the youth pass is kind of the certificate that you get at the end of the volunteering. So every activity that you've been doing, just always remember to write it down because there are things that you will forget, and then just include it all in your youth pass. Never rush your youth pass. Like that's kind of your time to kind of tell yourself through the youth pass how far you've come, all the things you've done. I think that's a very useful tool.
Yeah, but we are talking about Youth Pass, by the way. It's some sort of like certificate you get after this project. So did you ever use it anywhere, like the paper, I mean?
I actually, with every CV application that I send, I do have on my CV my first ever working experience. I've always put it on Centers Europejskiej Inicjatywy in Stara Zagora, and I always have that still now on my CV, and I do attach my youth pass if so. So I think it's something for organizations to see what you've done when you were just like 18, whatever. I think it's just something really good for them to see, and if you especially want to do something that's related to your project, I think that's something that you can definitely use because companies will be interested to see what you were doing at the age of 18, 20, 25 that was related to the position you're applying to. Yeah, it's very useful.
Yeah, it for sure looks better for the future employer to see that at your 80s you were doing a radio show or whatever than you were somewhere, I don't know, wasting your life. So yeah, this is never bad. Okay, so now let's take another music break, and after the music break we will be back to say bye-bye to you for today. But first let's listen to some music again. Hello guys, welcome back. We are listening to Radio Beat Around, supported by Center of European Initiatives and Erasmus Plus program. And today, as you might have heard, we were talking about Angels, our former EVS volunteers' experience with EVS. And we hope that after this show you know a little bit more, you can imagine a little bit more what EVS is about and how can you feel here, and that maybe you will think about joining. And so thank you very much for listening. And we will be back with our discussion show tomorrow at the same time at 3 p.m. Bulgarian time. And also there will be rubric every day at 2 p.m. So listen to us and have a beautiful day for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.